Hi, and welcome to part 2 of the advanced uses of the Hero Lab editor for Pathfinder. My name is Tim Shadow, or Shadowchemosh, I'm known on the forums. And today we'll go over actually trying to create a Cloak of Protection that actually gives an armor class increase instead of the ones that give resistance or just a saving throws, which will require us to get into the eval scripts and actually write some type of scripting today. So again, we'll just go to Start, Launch Editor, and in here I'm going to go to File, Data File, Open, and I'm going to open up my existing file that I created in Part 1. So, now that I'm in here, I'm presented with this huge number of tabs that cover large areas of the Pathfinder game system. But our big one here is going to be for Wondrous, which is where most of our magic items are stored, for like cloaks and gloves and that type of nature of items. So I simply click on Wondrous. Now the big question is, what do we do here? Everything seems to not be non-functional. It's because you either have to create a new blank record or we can do a new copy. The difference being, if I click new blank, I'm presented with this becomes active, and I can now type in question marks for a name, give it a unique ID, but this is all up to me to fill it all in. Personally, I find most of that time that to be harder to work with than doing a new copy. So I'll just delete that. New copy allows me to pull in any type of existing item that Hero Lab knows about and make a copy of it. Now, there's some difference though. You'll notice how some of these, like the Amasho seal here, was in a different, darker color than the Amulet of Bullet of Protection. And then you notice when we click on the Amulet of Bullet Protection, we get a little warning. This is defined into a supplemental data set. More than likely, it's part of Ultimate Combat. While I will be able to look at those things from inside the editor, if I click OK on it, you notice it will pull it all in. Notice it's in bright purple. And a big warning, this is non-copyable. But we can see everything. We can see the settings it used, if it had any veil scripts, bootstraps. We can see what tags it's got on it. This helps us for other purposes. But we can't make an exact copy of it and just start using it. So for now, we'll just delete it. So we'll go to new copy. What I'm looking here for is start with something that's close already, a cloak. So we'll just go down to a Cloak of Resistance. And here we go. So we'll just highlight it, click OK. And now this one doesn't have any of the warnings, and we can do anything we want with it, including creating a whole new one. So we'll rename this to a Cloak of Protection +1. Sounds good. And now we're going to give it a unique ID. Alright. The unique ID is very important. Now you noticed before, actually, sorry, I'll take that back, because it had a question mark. The question mark there actually prevents Hero Lab from saving this now. So if I try to save it, it'll say you have an invalid character. Alright? And they do that on purpose to make sure that you give it a new unique ID. The unique ID, hence its name, has to be unique within the data set or it will cause errors. What I like to do to make sure I don't run into conflicts with another data set or another book that could come out from Pathfinder is to make sure my unique ID start with a 2-letter additional ID that refers to me or myself. In this case, I use S2. It actually stands for Shadow Die 20. But this allows for the fact that possibility of me running into another cloak or item in the game in Wondrous that has this unique ID to be very, very slim. So I name it that, and this is going to be a cloak, so I'll name it CL, and then a Cloak of Prot 1. And at that point, we can go ahead and we can save this. Now we're still marked as up here, you notice it says unmodified, so we saved this, but we didn't actually save the user file yet. One easy way to go ahead and make sure it's saved is to click the Test Now button. And not only will this save this for you then inside the user file, but it also compiles it. And we get a nice little message back saying you may now use the Cloak of Protection within Hero Lab. So that's always good to have. So if I go and flip over to here, to the actual Hero Lab itself, and we go to Magic, and I'll try and find our Cloak of Protection, which is somewhere in this list. Here it is. So Cloak of Protection. So for now, I'm just going to mark it. I want to buy it for free, since I don't really have that kind of money. And we'll say add and close so that we add it to the character. Now I think I should all be done, so I click the button to equip it, and I notice that my saving throws have gone up and not my armor class, which is still at 10. In the next segment we'll cover how to make that change to turn this into a Cloak of Protection instead of a Cloak of Resistance.